Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
All right, welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do for a living.
Wendy Herman. I live in New Jersey, and I would consider myself an entrepreneur and a founder. So that's what I do today. I am the founder of BRABAR, a intimate apparel startup targeting teen girls and fixing the miseducation around bra fitting.
Awesome. So what made you want to be an entrepreneur in general? Was it sort of by chance, or did you kind of like set out to start this business?
It was definitely a passion project. I would not call myself an entrepreneur by nature. As a matter of fact, I pretty much spent most of my career in the, corporate life. This was really a passion project that started when I started bra shopping with my daughter. And then it just led me down the path of, I feel like I'm the person who needs to solve this problem. And so I, took the leap, I guess, and started the journey. And all I could say is kudos to all the entrepreneurs out there, because I've done a lot of hard things in my career, but this is hard.
What was your career before?
So I spent my career in intimate apparel. I spent a good portion of my career at Calvin Klein underwear in the 90s and 2000s. And from there worked with other companies launching into underwear brands. So I worked for a company called Delta Galil, and we launched Tommy Hilfiger underwear and sleepwear into the market, and Lucky Brand, another brand you might be familiar with in the department store channels and in stores. We also did sleepwear and intimates. And then I went into the bra market with Notori and into the shapewear market with a brand called Yummy by Heather Thompson. And then the rest was, what led me to this was shopping with my daughter during my personal time while I was doing these other jobs.
So were you doing marketing like at those companies or something else?
So I would say that my career was primarily sales, planning, and then management. So initially I started my career actually as the assistant to the vice president of sales for Calvin Klein women's underwear during the launch of Calvin Klein women's underwear in 1994. And that was a really, really exciting opportunity, because if you imagine, that team was really small, and it was, back in the day when that brand was being launched. And honestly, I feel that I owe a lot of my accomplishments to my first boss, whose philosophy was, if she got run over by a bus tomorrow, she'd want me to know what was going on. But as a result, what she did was she exposed me to tons of things. And as opposed to having me sit at my desk while she was in a meeting, she brought me to the meetings with her. And I learned a lot just by being like that fly on the wall, getting to watch what was happening and absorb it. And so I really, truly think that was meaningful.
For sure. So I guess as of your business today, is it mostly e-commerce or retail? Like where can people typically find most of your products?
So we have a brick and mortar retail store. We do sell wholesale, and mostly you can find our product online at BRABAR, our website, or also via social. We're on brabar.us. So a lot of people, even find us, through and shop through our social. But so primarily online, but we do, based in New Jersey, we felt that the in-person experience is really important, and we wanted to be able to provide a fitting experience and to educate women, girls, moms, everybody on proper bra fitting. And it's harder to do that online. And there's a lot of misinformation online, a lot of incorrect bra size calculators. So
do you have customers that find you online, maybe from a different state or traveling, and then they come?
Definitely. We have people who have come from Connecticut, New York, Westchester area, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to come just to go to BRABAR, which is very flattering, actually. And we've had people who have traveled, who stopped by while they were there. But mostly I think that we consider ourselves, it was really a proof of concept in a way. We wanted to show, and we believe that the in-person experience and that someone helping you and sharing information is really important to the process, as opposed to self-serve, go online, figure it out. You can't feel it and no one is helping you unless someone's on chat. And then, you get what you get at home and hope that it's the right thing. So
For sure. So I guess like in terms of growing your business, like have you used like meta ads or PR? Like how have you really scaled this business on e-commerce and gotten like all this traction?
it's so interesting that I would say that we have tested and learned through a lot of different platforms. So most of our traffic is organic. And we do use paid media. We do, a little bit of Google and a little bit of Facebook, Instagram. We've toyed with Pinterest. We've toyed with TikTok. We are active socially. So from a perspective of not necessarily trying to pay to play and to get a customer to buy our product, but rather to spread our mission and our message, a lot of that we do on social. So I think that that's really where the key is. So if they're seeing it on Instagram, they may very well purchase it on Instagram. But we also find through Google, for example, the number of people that are going in and searching for the word BRABAR. That means that we've educated them that there is a brand and a company called BRABAR. We say, BRABAR is really about the BRABAR movement, and the movement is about change and impacting change for the next generation and standardizing bra sizing for the next generation by making a lot of noise and pushing everybody else, meaning the Aerie American Eagle, the Victoria's Secret, Soma, Skims, get everybody on the same page so that the information is meaningful. And then the other thing that we like to say is that if you're spreading BRABAR love, and what do we mean by that? So I guess what we mean by that is if we're educating them on something, they should share it with a friend, so that the reach, I think, is more just authentically who we are and what we're trying to do. And we've had success on different channels, and we had, certainly we experienced the iOS update, which made customer acquisition costs much more expensive. And so we work on email for retention, and we do affiliate, and we've done PR. So we've done both, and actually trying to align those, because I think that there is, there's a crossover between PR and affiliate, but then there's also in one way you would think PR should be actual press PR, because this is something that's interesting that we want to talk about. But unfortunately, I think the industry has swayed towards pay to play. So in that particular case, now it's through commissions and affiliate links, which is great also in that you're actually have a conversion versus trying to pay for someone else, to maybe come and maybe not come. This way you're paying for a sale, but still it's, there's a lot that goes into all the different channels. So I know there's a long-winded answer to say we definitely have tested a lot of different things in a small way. We're still a small brand. Like we want to be a big brand. We plan to be a big brand, but today we're still growing.
Do you use sort of influencer or UGC, things like that, giving away product and having people create content, but it's more so educational content. That way they're informing people. And it's kind of this, you could say, lead magnet of driving traffic to your social media or to your website. I'm sort of
yeah. So we want to educate everybody, whether they're our customer or not. Yeah. I wanted to fill the need of teens because my daughter was a teen and I saw the need in the market. And I also, because I spent my career in the industry, I understood what the problem is. The problem is really, if you think of a bell-shaped curve, and before there was e-commerce, there was just stores. If you think about most of the market, Victoria's Secret had the most amount of stores. In order to get many people into the same sizes, there's this system called sister sizing, which is you're wearing something that's sort of your size, but not your size.
Right.
And so all the people on either end of the bell curve, they're not serviced at all. Get closer towards the center. Some of them are serviced. And what did VS do? Basically, they put only the stuff that's in the center. So all the stuff on the end, that's what you find in specialty stores. That's what you find today on specialty online retailers. You're not necessarily going to find that when you walk into a store. But 30 years ago, when you walked into a specialty chain, someone would have helped you and given you the exact product. And that's why 8 out of 10 women wear the wrong size bra. And that's why we want to do what we're doing. But I think to say in our store, for example, maybe only 50% of the people who walk in the door are actually going to be able to wear our product. Let's assume they're open to wire free. We measure them. They still may not fit into our product. And so we then we say, this is your size. You're a 34H. You can shop here, here, and here. This is where we recommend that you go. And then they don't shop with us at all, but we were able to share the information. And on social, I think, especially because that's what we really want to do, is make sure that people understand what the brand is trying to accomplish, so that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you really will walk and everyone will teach one method.
For sure. So I feel like, I mean, you sort of mentioned, right, you're giving, you could say, like, a lot more value in person at your retail store. So is your vision to open up more retail locations across the country, or I guess like, what are you
Yes.
currently focused on?
So our desire would be able to service more people in person, which would include our own freestanding retail stores or wholesale expansion, which might include shop in shop, so that we have the ability to put a tape measure on the person and actually sell them the product simultaneously. So it's about an omni-channel experience, and actually an omni-channel experience so that you see it and feel it on social, but you can have that same experience when you go into the store and have that fitting. But let's say you live in Ohio and we have 10 stores, but none of them are near you, but you could have a virtual fitting experience and come to us and either have a virtual fitting experience like this, but you're measuring yourself, or even potentially something more dynamic in the future.
So for virtual fitting, are you currently using like augmented reality, or like what does that look like for you?
So that's really what I want to be able to do in the future. But today, it's really about guiding someone through it while we're not on site with them.
Like a
So
Zoom call, or
yeah, basically it's like a Zoom. Yeah, a Zoom, a FaceTime, a Google Meet, and then just kind of guiding them through the process of how to measure themselves. Because the truth is, it's not hard. It's just that it's been made to be very hard. I mean, I'm not saying that bra fitting can't be difficult, but I think it shouldn't be as difficult for everybody as it's been made out to be.
For sure. So what would you say, like, obviously now that we're wrapping up Q1 of 2024, so what are some of your biggest like objectives for this year?
Some of our biggest objectives for this year is to continue to build brand awareness, to expand our size range so that we can incorporate and include more people, and to be able to expand our wholesale distribution so more people have the opportunity to buy our products.
So I guess like in terms of brand awareness specifically, like how are you going to build, I guess, even more brand awareness compared to before? Is it gonna be more like pay to play, or?
So we were, because I missed this. We talked about UGC. Okay, so there's UGC advocates affiliates.
Right.
So we don't pay influencers, although we do have influencers who advocate for our brand. We call them we call people advocates of our brand. And basically they try the product. If they like the product and they want to endorse the product, great. That's kind of how the momentum started. We do work with some UGC creators in order to create specific content. For example, how to measure your bra size at home. There's many different demonstrations where we've worked with UGC creators to try to, and now we're continuing to do that to move it, to the next level. Like our first part was let's educate on fit and let people understand that the bra band is as important as the cup size, and that those two together is what really matters. And we're doing that through all the different channels. We're going to take it to the next level by continuing to have conversations about the standardization and why it's important. So that hopefully that's where I think the press that's where the link between, is it via social because it's organic conversation, or is it something that gets picked up by the press because all of a sudden they start to think about this and say, why is there a global standard to bra sizing, but there isn't a US standard to bra sizing? Why does Victoria's Secret tell you to measure at your armpit height instead of your rib cage? Why do they tell you to add 4 inches? If you do the math, right? We talked about it's like skipping 0 to 4, making everybody who's 0, 1, 2, and 3 skip right over to 4. So a 28 wears a 32. Now you don't have to worry about 28, 29, 30, 31 anymore. And so we want to change that for everybody. And that's, I think, partially, we believe that the movement for change and the reason for change, and when you think about young women and their development and self-confidence, that these are conversations that need to be had and hopefully will get organic traction. Because that's really what we want to do is, I think, spread the message and make the products available.
Makes sense. So now in 2024, many companies are using AI in their business. So do you guys currently use AI? And if not, where can AI come in and add value?
So we definitely use AI internally as a tool in many different iterations, from creative to, written work. I can say that we did a trial of a GPT that we created that actually walks you through bra sizing and how to measure. And so almost that virtual, but it's actually a GPT, although it's not currently public.
Is it sort of like a chat or?
So you go in and you chat with her and she gives you, or they give you, the guidance of what to do and respond to your questions and narrow it down to the point where they can really walk you through the process. And I think that people are implementing those on their website, so they're elevating what the chatbot can do. So we've educated our GPT on our brands and on our philosophy and on other things. So we could say, if someone comes in and says, I'm looking for, I need a little lift and I don't know my size, the GPT tells you how to measure and then actually mentions, oh, you might want a push-up bra. And oh, you told me your underbust was this and your overbust is this. Your size is 32B. You might try these 3 different styles of push-up bras.
So essentially now you're still training the AI model so that it's not ready yet, but hopefully soon it'll be ready to be deployed on your website. That way customers 24/7 can chat and have these conversations with the AI bot.
Yes, and to take it one step further, to actually be the destination for information, whether or not we are the brand or not. So we are actually the guide to fitting. So if you're a 34K, we want to be able to tell you, this is where you can go for a 34K. And you're like, oh my God, I thought I was a 38 triple D my whole life. And I'm actually, a 34K, and now I know where to go. So we do plan to implement our chatbot on our site, but we also want to actually, be able to create a way where we're giving information for people not to shop with us. But It's sort of the same thing we were doing in the store. We were telling them, if you didn't fit, go to Nordstrom because they have that size. Go to Seek because they have it,
So what would you say is the one biggest piece of advice that you wish you knew before you started this business?
How hard it is to be an entrepreneur. I think my entire career, I've worked with very talented people and had tons of resources available to me. And the ability to work, with people who are mentors, who are more senior to learn from, to peers, to people who have, supported the organization in different roles. Now, I find that I spend a lot of time doing things I'm not good at. And I wish I could spend my time doing everything that I am good at and delegate those things to other people, but those other people don't exist or the resources don't exist. So it's funny because I think that the biggest thing that I said to self yesterday was the biggest struggle of an entrepreneur versus having built things. My entire career was building brands and building things. I just had resources to do it. Is the inability to make an impact at scale. And so I think that if I tie it back to the very beginning of this conversation, through social, through organic, authentic education and information, and really meaning what we're saying and trying to make a difference, we hope that we can get the message out there so that 10 years from now, when you shop, you'll shop at BRABARs all over the place. You'll be able to get AA to O, 26 to 54 band sizes, and any kind of solution you think you might need.
Yeah, I mean, it's so true. I feel like all these things always take time, right? All these companies that you work for, they weren't built overnight. It took time, and it was like a lot of iteration. At first, people also didn't know who they were, right? So it's like all these things take time, and I think you're definitely positioning yourself and getting lots of really good traction. So if somebody watching this wanted to reach out, do you mind sharing your website or social media, I guess, best ways for somebody to get in contact?
So I would say if they want to get in touch with us, they can find us at brabar.us on social media. Our website is shopbrabar.com. And if someone wants to get in touch with me professionally, they can also reach out through LinkedIn. So if they want to reach out to BRABAR, they can find us on BRABAR. If they want to reach out to Wendy, they can find me on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Well, Wendy, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Dan. It was great.
It was.